We are, this trophy here, if you're watching the video portion, I think I've covered my face, but this has been the biggest and best trophy I've ever won. Because trophies are worthless unless you win the NBA Finals, the Stanley Cup, right? The Lord Stanley Cup, right? If you win, right, the Super Bowl trophy, right? Unless you win those, man, trophies are kind of lame, right?
Okay. What about a fantasy football trophy?
I don't even know about that because, well, I don't know. Maybe because I think with that, you just put it on your mantle. But if you had like a belt, some people do belts. Some people do rings, right? I guess you could do a fantasy football ring, maybe. I don't know. Never really had a fantasy football trophy. So maybe I'm weak.
Well, the one league I'm in, we have a trophy, and they actually just got engravings. It's the only reason
okay. All right. Well, that's pretty cool, but not as cool as this.
No.
I chose fun.
Are you going to explain how you earned that trophy?
Yeah. So, I guess really the long story short is we won sports trivia on the cruise is what we did. We came in hot. We had a group of 9?
Yeah.
8? I don't know. We had a pretty big group at the bar. We had a solid group there. And we only missed 2, even though one was kind of cheap, but we only missed 2. When did Monday Night Football start? And when was the first Super? No, we got that one right. And then the second one was first Super Bowl. Was that it? I can't remember the second one. I actually even also have the slip, believe it or not, here.
Yeah, you kept it.
I did.
So you can go back and look. There were 20 questions. We got 18 right. I remember that much.
Yeah. When was the first Super Bowl? And when did Monday Night Football start?
And that's what the two we got wrong?
Yep.
And I bet we were, 1 year off on both of those?
Yeah, we were off by maybe 2 years on the Monday Night Football, but we were off by, well, it's kind of cheap on the Super Bowl. Super Bowl year was 67, but we put 66.
Okay.
66 season, I guess, right? All the other ones are pretty easy. I don't think I was much help here. Besides maybe the Magic Johnson, but I don't even think I was, everybody already said Magic before me. Wayne Gretzky. Actually, that was mine.
There you go, because I would have not,
I had that one right off the jump. But I think they would have, if I wasn't there, Jason or somebody would have had it. I mean, come on. The great one. So
it was a group effort.
Yeah, that's right. I collected the trophy, clearly. So,
and it's a nice looking trophy.
Thank you. I appreciate it. We're going to put some type of year on this and shit too. So
are you? Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I wonder if, I don't even know. This is obviously a Carnival ship pinning the little fin here, right? Is this what every trophy looks like on every Carnival ship except for the Carnival Glory? Or is this the actual Carnival ship? I don't know.
Good question.
I got to go on another Carnival ship and win trivia, which I won't do.
Yep. Or just play trivia and see the trophy.
True. Yeah. So, I guess someone's watching this, look at the trophy and let me know if that's true. I have no idea. All right. Facts, Lies, and One Truth. 2 Joes who want to be pros with Ox and Mish. We got action URL codes there. If you're watching video form, you want to follow us on that. Same story each week. We did take last week off, so we're going to go over the where we were right and where we were wrong from 2 weeks ago. We will go relatively quickly because it doesn't matter for sure now. But it does matter in terms of the graphic, right, of the records, which I continue to go 2-2 on. But still winning record, and ROI is decent. We did the sack props did knock that down a little bit for me. But nonetheless, I'll put this again up at the end, the action URL codes, if you missed it there really quick. But we have some good stuff here. We'll go where we were right first. Over 30 have Mississippi State. That hit in the first half. That was tight. Yeah, man.
Damn.
That was so. They played Mississippi State 2 weeks ago. That was an easy win for them. Obviously, then they rebounded pretty nicely there the next week versus Georgia. But Byron Young, that one was a pretty cool. That was a pretty cool hit. Over half a sack for the Rams, I believe that was. So that was tight.
And he got 2, if I remember right.
Yeah, he really.
Most of these guys are getting 2. You should start betting. Can you bet 2+ sacks?
You can live. You can't.
Okay.
Pre. At least on my book, at least in the Hardwick book. I'm assuming not for DraftKings either. That's my guess.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah. You had your teaser. You might be coming back on the teasers now. Are the teasers making a comeback here? I don't know.
I mean, I hope so. We'll see this week because I think I have the best teaser, but I think that every week. I think
Right.
so. Yeah. What did I do? So Chiefs minus 2.5. That was close though. Overtime win.
Yeah.
Scary. And the Bills money line. That was also close because they only beat the Dolphins by 3. So it was not a couch cover teaser though.
No, the Chiefs game was excellent, and we had a scare there. Mahomes went down with a possible injury, but obviously hopped right back up and won the game. And we all saw Baker's reaction when they lost the coin toss. Do you go for 2 there? If when you tie, if you're the
Bucks,
yeah.
I think so. Remember, we talked about this for the Bengals Ravens as we were following it on our phone. I think it's very situation dependent. Because normally I'd say no, but if you're the Bucks, why not, man? Because if Mahomes gets the ball, you lost.
Yeah.
Kind of. And if you're going against like a Ravens too, almost like I guess I could see why the Bengals did it.
They were Buccaneers were on the road.
And on the road, that's another reason I feel like teams go for it.
It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. What do you say?
I don't know. That one's a tough one. I'm always. The road thing makes sense, but I'm huge on. I always think the home team has the advantage in overtime, right? Especially with Mahomes quarterback, that's tough. Getting the ball first, you got to assume that he will. You got to assume that he will. And I have faith in my assistant coaches. So if we got to play, we feel good, and he says he feels good, we're doing it.
Yeah. Yep.
That's it. Because I'm already thinking about that, right? Because if I'm the head coach, your offense coordinator is calling the plays. So your bowls, I'm already thinking about, if we score here, what do I want to do?
Yeah. And you're telling the OC that too. You're saying, hey, do you have a play? Do you have one play?
Yeah. So I'm going to trust 100%. In that. So if he's got some, let's do it. Yes. Full go. But if I'm getting some hesitation, I'm out.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's not an easy answer, right? I think it's very situation based. Playoffs, I do not go for 2 because there's a new playoff rule.
Yeah.
Where if they score a touchdown, you still get the ball. So fuck it. Let's play.
Yep. And then you had Rams money line?
Overtime win. With the Seahawks. Another close one.
Yep.
Actually, all these were super close. So I had Rams money line. And the next one, Bo Nix over 32.5 pass attempts.
Yeah, and then the one that broke it, he did like a little – it almost stepped out of bounds and threw it.
Just threw it away. But he had 20. This is funny because he had 20 in the first half. And I looked at you and I was like, what a good bet, couch cover. And you were like, don't do it. Don't do it.
It's a gin and tonics. It's a gin and tonics talking. It's Moscow Mules talking.
Oh, yeah. And then by the fourth quarter, he had like 24. He had like nothing in the third quarter. And it's like, holy fuck. And then we sweated it out until his last little fucking throwaway, thank God, to get 33. 33. God, beat it by half of an attempt.
We are undefeated as a group, you and I, on Bo Nix bets this year. Actually, I mean we're only 2-0, but shit for a quarterback that is a rookie and he's been up and down. Some good games, had some bad games, but I hit an over passing yards bet when he only had 22 in the first half. So I mean, kind of the opposite how we approached it there going in the second half. But you know what I mean. So
yep.
Nonetheless, 5 wins there, 3 on your side. Where were you wrong? Penn State versus Ohio State. What a tough. Franklin cannot get the big win. I don't know what Penn State does from here. They can't get a big win to save their life. This is another one where they're at home and getting points. They cover most of the time in that series, and they still just absolutely flop. The game was close, within 7, but they don't cover. And then T.J. Hawkinson was absolutely a ball buster. What a great weekend it would have been 2 weeks ago. I was all in, and that is not taken lightly. That's an all-in T.J. Hawkinson over 30, and he destroyed it, by the way, on the second week. He was so last week.
I was just going to bring that up. I was like, did you see him this past week? Because he got like 80 yards.
Yep. So what a ball buster that was. It looked decent heading in. He had the longest catch was like 17 yards. So we had some promising look there in that game. Sorry, I guess that Seahawks game, right? No, I'm sorry. Who were the Vikings had? Colts. And then just nothing happened. But I guess we got the Josh Downs.
Yeah, we barely got that one. That saved us.
Like the second to last play of the game.
Yeah. And it was 59.5, I think we got, and he hit 60.
Yeah, dude. All right. So, although I just had a substantially more amount of money on Hawkins. Gosh, TJ. I will never forget that. Just based off, I still like the bet. Still would make it today if the scenario was the same. So, But you love the Kyren Williams one though.
I did. Kyren Williams rushing 86.5. If I remember right, he only got like 50. Wasn't even close.
Yeah, it was rough.
It was not even close. So I wonder, because I know the Seahawks were getting some reinforcements back, but I remember I took this bet and I was like, oh, well, these guys have already been back a couple weeks. So I don't know if that's a sign of things for the Seahawks, like they're getting their feet underneath them.
Yeah.
Or if, Rams just aren't that good of a running team. I don't know, but it was way off. It was really bad.
Yeah, Rams looked kind of rough, I guess, in the most previous matchup.
Monday night, and that's why I say, like, are the Rams just...
Thought they were trending up. I don't know. They look kind of bumpy there. I'm not too sure. Anyway, my she's at 22 wins. I'm adding 2 each week. We're going to hope we add more than 2 this week, but I'm sticking solid with 2 over 500 every week. So I'm 500 each week, but the previous wins. I got some good stuff.
Winning record.
Yeah, winning
you
record.
You had a couple plus money lines.
Yeah, we got some sack props
to even out some of the sack props.
Illinois money line bet versus Kansas was a nice ROI return. And then you were terrible to start. You weren't terrible. You had below 500, and then and then you've been kind of rolling pretty good ever since.
Yeah.
But as you know, we have bowl games coming up, and we got only halfway through the NFL season, so we got a lot of game to play, a lot of games to watch.
A lot of game left, baby.
Okay, we'll keep it moving here. So, upcoming NFL week schedule. We have the Chiefs again. Plot twist. So Chiefs.
Well, hold on.
Bengals.
I
Ravens.
feel like I kept the Bengals and Ravens game out because I feel like we've talked about them every week, but I don't think we've done the Chiefs as often.
It's been a few weeks. I would have to go in the history of the script to see how far it's been, but we had them in definitely like 4 weeks ago, right? We had that stretch of Bengals. We had the stretch of the Ravens.
Now we're doing the stretch of the Chiefs.
Yeah, right. It's okay though. This game is always a burner. This is always a great game.
Yeah.
So nonetheless, it's solid. Lead us up here. Browns at Saints. I think this game's pretty juicy. There's a lot of bets on the board that could be nice. We got players coming back for the Saints in terms of the line. They get an offensive line. Mm-hmm. Carr's been back. I think Carr's been back 2 weeks. I'm getting confused.
This is his third week now back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Third week back now. But and then you got maybe a Browns team that's a lot better, I think, now that
I do too.
Watson's back. So what do you got?
Yeah, I found a lot of bets in this game I like.
Yep.
I put this on here because I absolutely love the Browns. So the Browns is one of my best bets. Teaser alert. Whatever. Like the Browns, though. So here's the reason. I'll start with that. Saints, very lucky to win last week, in my opinion. Were you able to watch much of that game?
I saw a little bit of it. And I saw the highlights as well, and I was like, wow. I mean, I think it's obviously a surprise win, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they Younghoe Koo missed 3 field goals. Falcons were in the Saints territory the entire game. And I backed the Saints last week, so I was pretty invested in that game, watching that game. And I came away and I was just like, I want to fade the Saints now. Like, I know they won, but it was also that kind of that one-game bump because they had the interim coach.
Yeah.
You know how that one-game
Oh,
bump.
yeah. Yep.
Also, Derek Carr, 2 of their bombs, or 2 of their touchdowns were long bombs to MVS. Like, is that going to continue? So the Saints still do not have Chris Olave. They still don't have Raheed Shaheed, whatever that guy's name is.
Yep, right.
They're getting Eric McCoy back, to your point. Good offensive lineman. Graded really well. But the Browns, so Kevin Stefanski said in his presser this week, anybody that is not on IR is a go this week.
Oh, came out and said it.
Yeah, so they're coming off their bye. This is the healthiest they've been all week, or all year, I mean.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're a bad football team. When you actually get that line and they get some time to sync together and you have a pulse at quarterback, just a pulse. I'm not a huge, I'm not going to come out here and say Jameis is a savior, but I think he's better than Deshaun Watson's been for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So anyways, Browns money line. I love that bet. I also found another best bet here. So this one's juicy. I think you're going to like this.
Okay.
Alvin Kamara over 38.5 receiving yards. I hope that's still the number. This was last night I took that. So he has hit that in 7 out of 10 games. 2 of the games he did not hit that was in that 3-game sample when Derek Carr was not in.
Right.
So with Derek Carr, he's 6 of 7 on this number. And oftentimes he's getting 50, 60 yards. The Browns are tricky. as far as defensively, when I say, hey, how are teams attacking the Browns? It's like one game tight end, one game running back, one game tight end, one game running back, like looking outside of the receivers. So it's not that drove me to it, but when I started looking at Kamara and what he does when there's Derek Carr, because I think the reason that he didn't hit those receiving props is because teams were playing so close. That's also when they had no offensive linemen, right? Like versus the Broncos where like, and Spencer Rattler was getting killed in 1 second. And so teams were just playing so fucking close to Kamara. They couldn't even get him the ball.
And no receivers. Who else you throw it to?
And yes, exactly. So teams just focused on Kamara. So anyways, I think this is a good spot for him. I also, not a best bet, but I like Cedric Tillman.
I was wondering if you would like one of them.
Yeah, him and Judy, they've both been getting lit up in targets by Winston.
Yep.
They both have, so I think you could go either way there. I went to Cedric Tillman, but the Saints don't have Marshawn Lattimore. They traded him away when we were on the cruise. And then Paulson Adebo, their other starting cornerback, is out for the year. So I don't think the Saints have anybody to defend these guys, and I don't think they have a pass rush that's going to make Jameis uncomfortable. Yeah. So that's a lot, but that's where I'm at for this game. And where are you at?
Yeah. So it's funny. We're gonna be battling, I think, against each other here. I'll cut to the chase on the battling part. I'm going to go back to, I got burned earlier this year. I'm trying to go back right when everybody jumps off. I want to jump on. The Judy, we got burned earlier this year when Watson was the quarterback. We're going to blame it on Watson here. It's an easy scapegoat. But I'm going to go back to Judy, 48.5 over receiving yards. He's been killing it last 2 weeks. A lot of targets. You just mentioned that. It's funny because like Tillman was such a poorly graded receiver. It's just crazy how much. It's not crazy. That's not true. It's just quarterbacks make these guys, man. Right? Like they could be poorly graded receivers, man, but it don't matter. If you don't got someone to deliver you the ball, you ain't gonna be shit. Right? Like, so it's gonna be interesting to see. I think 48.5. This number's gone up a little bit for Judy. At least I've seen recently. But I got it 48.5. I really like it. I also like a little bit of a Watson attempts here, just based on the fact how bad Chubb's looked. Right? And Ford's a little better, but Chubb's been back a decent bit. Not a lot. He came back, 3 weeks ago? Week 7?
Yes.
Came back week 7, and it's just, I don't know. And I know their O-line was banged up early, but they're pretty much back. So you can't really blame it on that. Now, I know this offense is kind of transformed into being better and kind of different, so to speak. But my point is the running game looks weak, and the way you beat the Saints is throwing it on them. I mean, that's what it is, especially with the two corners that you just said. Taylor and Gene Charles are their kind of replacements, so to speak. Taylor's one of the worst in the league, and Gene Charles is relatively new, so the terms of rankings isn't great, but he grades very poorly. Right, he's only played week 9 and week 10, and he hasn't graded well in either one. So that's my concern there. Okay, here's what's kind of nuts. So I believe the spread's been bouncing around altogether. I should have probably brought it up for the group here. Sorry, but like, what is? Go ahead.
Oh, I said, yeah, Browns are favorite now.
Browns are favorite now. Okay, new. So this kind of goes with my stat. It's been bouncing around in the 21st century. Right, this matchup has been played 6 times. The favorite has only won once. That was kind of odd. Yeah. So I like the Winston attempts here. I have bet the Winston attempts here. A lot of attempts, over 35.5. Right.
Okay.
I like it because I think they're going to pass to win, and the Saints have let up these amounts of attempts or more in at least 5 games this year. So teams can, they have a lot of losses. So teams can beat them through the air, and teams are going to go through the air. So I like that. And obviously, I think the last 2 games he's had over 40 attempts. Winston has. Yeah. So they like to sling it. Yeah. So I could see. I like both of these teams are going to throw. I think the only thing that I'm worried about is because the Browns' pass defense is ranked 31st in the league. That's pretty bad.
Surprising.
Yes, I thought it was too. So some Saints receiver props could sneak here. I haven't seen it on the board. I haven't seen any on the board besides Kamara. But last week, what's his name had 2 targets, 2 receptions. Mike Austin, I think it was. He just got signed by the Saints, and he's a slot receiver for them. I'd be interested to know. I know I kind of did a stretch earlier this year with Greg Dortch. and I missed on it. But I might do a lunch money on Austin here. They just have nobody reliable outside of Kamara to throw to. With a 31st ranked pass defense, someone's going to get some love. Okay, I like Browns money line in this matchup. I did throw some cash on it. Problem is it too good to be true? That's why I don't love it. Is it too good to be true here, right? Like, NFL's weird.
With Mike Austin?
Sorry, Browns money line. I have a couple dollars on that bet.
Oh, okay. Is it too good to be true?
Is it too good to be true? That's why I don't love the bet. I like it. I did bet on it, but man, the NFL gets weird. Saints are at home. We have FanDuel have them still -1.5. Right? I just don't know. It's just weird, right? A lot of pros. I haven't looked at the PFF percentage in terms of where is the money at, but it's just weird. It sounded like a lot of pros on VSiN were on the Browns side.
Yes, and I will say, I bet the Browns last night, to be fair.
Yeah.
The podcast I liked the most gave out the Browns, and I was kind of like, damn it, like, you're still in my thunder, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
This is my best bet. So pros do, obviously. They must like it.
I like it as well. But, David Carr's played well considering the injuries he's had, the lack of receivers here later in the year that he's had, or at least in his return. And it's weird how that goes. When he's playing, they've passed less. If you look at the numbers, right? I just thought that was really odd. So just keep that in mind. Like, so you said he's been back 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Like last week they beat Atlanta. He only passed it 25 times.
That was a weird game. You look at all the stats in that game.
The weirdest shit.
They didn't even run that well.
Nope. 27 for 96.
Like nothing. And it's like, how did they win this game? And that's how I felt watching it. I was just like waiting for Atlanta to take over.
Defensively, they got lit up.
Yep.
Lit up.
Yep.
So, yes, everything points to the Browns, just how badly they played and then still beat Atlanta. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, man. NFL scares me. That's why I don't bet it as much. I just get scared. I'm scared better.
This is me with college.
Everything is like, I don't know. I shouldn't do this.
Well, to back you up here, so PFF, on the spread, 28% of the tickets are on the Browns, but 55% of the money.
Yeah, that's good though. I like that. I like a little weird. Yeah.
I do too. Yeah. And almost no one's taking the Browns money line. Almost everyone's on the Saints.
I'm assuming, pinning the value, I guess, at that point. I don't know. This game's a mess, but hopefully it's a happy mistake. Bob Ross style, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of things to like.
I know. Yeah. Next game we got here, Packers at Bears. Interesting game because just basically off of, the Bears line is a little banged up. They've really had poor games last 2 times out.
Yep.
So it's interesting to see how you have it. What do you got? What do you got shaking out here?
So this one was tough. I put this one in just because the look ahead line was -2.5 Packers. Then I got out to 6.5, and now it's back to 5.5.
Yeah.
I believe. Are we sitting at 5.5 now?
I got you. Yeah.
Consensus is 5.5. So that's why I put it on, because I'm like, woof, this is kind of one of those games where you're like, oh, we'll just take the Packers. Like, Bears suck. Bears are terrible. I got a couple bets, but before I get into that, so I was looking, because before the bye, the Bears looked good.
Yeah.
Right? We thought so. They beat the drums off the Panthers and the Jaguars.
Yep.
Now, looking back, 2 bad teams, but they still went and they beat their ass. So, and I had heard their offensive line was hurt, so I went and looked, and it's been, since they've been playing poor, that's been the offensive linemen have been out.
Yeah.
Now, but they're questionable this week. So I'm just like, I don't want to make a bet on the side because I think those offensive linemen are kind of everything. Do you know, have you seen anything different on the Bears offensive linemen, whether they're coming back or not?
I haven't, but they only have one listed as questionable.
Yeah.
Jenkins, I'm assuming he's a guard, which would be huge for them. But it looks, I don't know.
Yeah, because so the Ryan Bates,
yep,
their other guard, and then this Larry Borum.
They have Jenkins in. They have
Jenkins in, and he's listed as questionable. But still, this Borum has only played 2 weeks, if you go and look. So, okay, so he's a replacement, and he grades out poorly. Bates has only played last week. Mm-hmm. He grades out really poorly. And, yeah, they don't have anybody else listed questionable.
Right.
So, anyways, I don't love the Bears, but this feels like a trap game for some reason. I don't know why. Packers are coming off a bye. You would think that would be advantageous. Don't love it. Another interesting nugget as I was looking. Teams that play the Packers. Because I was like, how do you attack this game? Because I don't want to take Bears guys with the offensive line still as it is. I'm like, is Caleb Williams going to get sacked 14 times again? So I'm going and looking at the Packers though. The interesting thing, teams throw better against them when the Packers are on the road. And I have heard in other podcasts that the Packers home service is a big advantage for them because it's like longer grass, so it's a slower playing field. And so, anyways, I just think with the Packers on the road, that got me thinking, like, okay, well, that's the only time teams have been able to throw against the Packers is on the road. So, but then again, I went and looked at the offensive line, and I'm like, don't like it. I did sprinkle some money on the over because it's 40.5 is all. So just a little spray. I didn't want to do a ton on it. My favorite bet of the game, I'll just cut to this one. Mm-hmm. I've been rambling here a little bit. The Bears every game, almost. I do factor in the previous 5 games because I wanted to see like more trends instead of going and looking at all 10 games. Almost every single team, I want to say 4 of those 5 teams, like the leading receiver for the other team was the tight end. So I immediately was like, I'm taking Tucker Kraft, and I went and looked at his number. He's only hit his number 3, or it was 3 of 8 times. It's less than 50%. So it's like, oh, this number's not good. But again, I just go back to the Bears, and they just get eaten alive by tight ends. So I don't have a play on the side. That's more of a gut feeling because I would want to take the Packers, but that seems too square. But I do like that Tucker Kraft because teams seem to all use their tight end against the Bears.
Yeah.
So that's mostly where I'm at, man. A lot of back and forth, obviously, is kind of where I kept going with this.
Yeah, it looks like here the tight end against the Bears is at least going to receive 4 targets or more. In the last, 6 weeks of games, so 6 straight weeks, it's 6 or more.
6 or more. Yeah.
6 targets or more. Jaguars had 12. Commanders had 13. Patriots had 8. Those are all, well, I don't know if you want to consider the Jaguars just kind of suck, but Panthers have a relatively, that was Dalton there, so that makes sense, I guess. And then the Patriots had May. So, I'm interested to see, I don't know, it's tough. Jordan Love, I'm not sure. We'll see. Yeah, I see where you're at. I have, I kind of looked at the sacks a little bit because the O-line's been so weak for the Bears, like you said, right? Caleb Williams went down 9 times against New England. That's crazy, man.
Not even a good pass or a rush defense.
I know. And then 6 times versus the Cardinals. So
yeah,
that's just a ton, man. That's a lot of sacks. So that worries me. Even if we get a lineman back, that still kind of jumps out. I like Rashawn Gary. The prop's already up. I'd like to know what you have it at. So there's some sack props that are already up, believe it or not. Ooh. Rashawn Gary, the number's not that great for considering how, I don't know if Vegas kind of sniffs something more than I do, but I have it at minus 110 over a half a sack. I went ahead and took it anyway because I did the effort on it. 2 sacks in the last 3 games, 6 total hurries in the last 3 games. Pretty solid numbers, as in he's hot right now. But the Packers as a whole, the entire defense pass rush is ranked 25th in the league. So they're not even that good. So there is going to be no one else. I shouldn't say no one else. I got bit last week. I had 2 sack props and completely flubbed. But someone's going to get a sack. I'm assuming it's going to be Gary. But at the same token, they're such a bad pass rushing team. It's going to be a tough bet. I don't like minus 110 because it doesn't feel that certain. Mm-hmm. But the Packers secondary obviously is pretty solid. They have 2 safeties that are very, very good, right? 8th ranked secondary. So I kind of was like, where do I attack that? Do we go with more of a Williams pass attempts, right? So if you can't rush the quarterback, is Williams going to get the ball out more? So do we go after that? Do we maybe sneak a little bit of a Caleb Williams interception? He hasn't thrown an interception in quite a while. I think it's 4 or 5 games in a row now. He hasn't thrown one. Problem is that number's trash. It was 150, minus 150 yesterday. My gosh. I know, trash number, right?
If you're going to take an interception prop with him, if you can find 2 or more, because I did notice this. He doesn't throw it often, but when he does, he throws 2 interceptions.
Yeah. So I was all excited, and then I saw that, and I said, well, now it's down to 140 today. I need more like 115 if I'm going to think about it. I don't know. That's just me. The pass attempts is a maybe. They do get an offensive lineman back. The Packers do suck at rushing the quarterback. I don't know. I did see this. They have their over-under points at, I think it's 16.5 or 17 for Bears total points in the game. How are they going to get it is the question, right? Like, I'm assuming by throwing the ball is going to be the choice, especially with how bad the pass rush is. But the Packers secondary is pretty solid at the safety position. Mm-hmm. Weird bet, weird game to attack. I'll just end it with this. I went with the Rashawn Gary prop because someone's going to get a sack. Someone will sack the quarterback with still injuries occurring on that line. I mean, shoot, dude, we had 9 against New England, 6 against Cardinals. I'll even cut you in half. Okay, we're just going to be 3 in this game. And I think Gary's the best player to do it considering his hot streak here. The only problem is I don't really love the number at minus 110.
Yeah, I did check. I have the same number.
Okay.
It's the same number here, yeah.
Okay.
Fair points, though. I mean, think about it. Patriots and Cardinals literally have 0 fucking pass rush.
I know.
But, like, that's how you think about those teams. And they got that many sacks.
Yeah.
And I feel like you've done this in the past where you're like, listen, somebody on this line is going to get one because there's going to be multiple. So I'm going to take the guy who I think's the best. And I feel like there's been a couple where you're like, I don't love it, but like we're going to get multiple opportunities.
Yeah, the last one I didn't love was the Eagles one in at Clemens. They actually had it on the Thursday night game, and that was like a plus 245, I think it was, or whatever. Okay, yeah. This number is not as juicy, right? Minus 110 for Gary, but we're going for not a best bet. Was going to be, but we have a better best bet with better odds and better odds to get it. So both sides are juicy, right? Better than Gary. That's actually coming up right meow.
Look, last thing on the game.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Sorry,
yeah.
You're transitioning. Bears have a new OC this game. Mm-hmm. New interim guy. Now, he was the Panthers OC last year and sucked, so I'm not high on the guy. But do we get a one game bump from the offense? Right? How does that factor into the pass attempts, the sacks, having the new OC there?
Yeah, I mean, Nebraska's gotten it, right? Dana Holgorsen comes in for 1 week as an analyst. I know it's college, but 1 week as an analyst, and then he's immediately put in as the OC, and they got a little bit of a bump in offense.
Really? I didn't even realize that. Okay.
So, I don't think – there's not a lot of film on your play calling at that point.
Right.
Now, you have old film, but not with these players.
Yes, and that's where I wonder if you get a one-game bump from it. It's just a thought. I don't know.
I don't hate it. I just hope he passes more if you take the pass attempts ratings.
Right.
I don't know. Chiefs at Bills is next. I do not have a lot. I hate these games, especially with such a rivalry that this game has been between these two juggernaut of quarterbacks. What do you got?
Ended up finding a decent amount on this game too.
Oh wow, okay.
Well, I just have my favorite teaser because I'm obviously going to tease the Chiefs in this game. Like you give me +8, I'm going to take that all day.
Yeah.
I just don't see them losing by volume. So I heard this stat earlier today, and I already knew this. You know this too. Like Mahomes, when he's either a favorite of 3 or less or a dog, he's great. As a dog, he's 13-1-1. Like that's insane, man. That is insane. So based purely on that trend, I am teasing the Chiefs. Absolutely. And when we get to the best bet, I'll tell you who I'm pairing it with because I love the other team too.
Yep.
But I love that aspect. So I have a lot of thoughts on the game because the Bills, here's the thing. We still don't know. There's no props for the Bills right now. And that's because Dalton Kincaid's questionable and Amari Cooper's questionable. I think that's going to factor in huge because the way to beat the Chiefs is you have to throw the football against them. And when we've talked about the Chiefs in the past, we talk about how you attack with your tight end. Now they still have Dawson Knox. That's fine. But Keon Coleman's already out. So like you're running out Khalil Shakir, Mac Hollins, and who else if those guys don't play? Dawson Knox? Like that's it? That's my worry with the Bills in this game because I actually think this is a spot the Bills are going to be more motivated to win. And the Chiefs they're not going to go undefeated this year. And Josh Allen typically beats the Chiefs in the regular season, actually. In their matchup, the last 5 years, Mahomes is 4-3 versus the Bills. The 3-0 in the playoffs.
Yeah, what matters? Yeah.
So regular season, though, Bills are up 3-1. So I would not be surprised to see the Bills win. I just don't think they win with I don't think they win by a lot, I guess is what I'm saying. So I love that. But so I didn't know what to do with the Bills because we have all these questions, and so there's no props available, really. But I'll say this: if they try to run the ball a bunch and don't throw, take the under. I just don't know, so I'm not betting over or under. But if they do try to do that, it's not the recipe to beat the Chiefs. So here I'm very, very, very square with these picks. Favorite bet here outside of the teaser, I have Patrick Mahomes over 22.5 pass completions. One, we all know the Chiefs they just dink and dunk all day long now. That's what they do. They are super efficient. They don't wow anybody. They just go into football games and what do they have? They have the most plays per possession this year. They have the longest time of possession per drive in the NFL this year. That's what they do. So already you could just lean there, but okay. So I went and looked at the Bills though. The teams that have played the Bills again over the past 5 weeks, the quarterbacks, I want to say it's 3 of 4 have hit this number, maybe 4 of 4. I should write this shit down. I apologize. But either way, I looked at the teams that have been playing the Bills, and those quarterbacks are all hitting this, and they're having a very high completion percentage. And I think that's why. Why is because Sean McDermott plays a softer defense. He's a bend but don't break guy.
Yeah.
So the Bills are great defensively in the red zone, but they allow teams to get there, and then they kind of stiffen up. And with the way the Chiefs play, I think they're going to be able to dink and dunk. I also went and looked at the Bills linebackers because they're not graded bad, but if you go click in there, their pass coverage grade is really bad. So my other score bet is Kelce over 6.5 receptions because he doesn't always get yards, but he gets targeted a lot. So it kind of goes in with Mahomes over 22.5 completions. I like the Mahomes bet more. But I think Kelce could get very involved. I think Hopkins is helping him to get involved because you can't just put all your focus on Travis Kelce now. So yeah, as far as the side, I'm just going to tease the game. I'm not going to mess with the 2.5, or the 2, even though every trend is going to tell you to take the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So anyways, just some things to think about, I guess, that I kind of, when I was looking at the game.
Yeah, I'll go off of that. Definitely completions are pretty solid against Bills defense, like you were noting. The road team has won 4 straight in this matchup.
In this matchup?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Holy
it's
shit.
pretty nuts. Bills haven't won this matchup at home. That's the key here. At home since 2012.
Whoa.
Yeah. That was the keynote there. That was the keynote. They haven't won it at home this matchup since 2012. So I thought that was kind of nuts.
Especially because these stadiums are hard to play in. So that's why that stat's kind of...
I know. The road team owns this series is kind of what I'm saying, I guess.
Yeah.
More or less, which is pretty insane with the NFL. That just goes to show you, home, everyone thinks that, right? Home teams rule the world. Not always. And that's a lot of sports, bro. Yes, it's beneficial. Yes, they have a better record as a whole. But in terms of value, it ain't going to be there because you're going to pay some extra juice, right, to get the home team. Usually speaking, depending on the team, blah, blah. Okay. I was thinking about this game. I didn't see a lot that kind of stuck out to me. Mahomes has been getting beat up a little bit, right? I believe the last 2 weeks, 4 sacks each game. So 8 total sacks in 2 weeks, right? And that's against, I know Denver's got a pretty solid D, but also Tampa had 4 sacks as well. Okay. He's a little banged up. Definitely coming out of that Buccaneers game, he got banged up. So I'm trying to use that. I hate saying this because it's Mahomes. Dude's a boss, right? We're going to really try to find an advantage against such a great quarterback. But 4 sacks speaks for itself. So I took that and I was like, what about the rushing total for Mahomes? It's at 22.5. The last 2 games versus the Bills have been under with this. Okay. And with him being banged up and he's going to want to get the ball out. Hopefully get some receptions for Kelce, right?
Yep.
Get the ball out, get it going, short dink and dunks. They can't run the ball, which is kind of tough, right? They're well under, I don't know if you say 1-0, but 4 yards a carry, right? Was it 3.5, I think, at home, whatnot. So they don't run the ball very well. 22.5, I think it's a nice number, but it's not a best bet, but I went ahead and hit it, the 22.5 rushing yards. I think he's going to be a little bit under that. But then I started looking at the 4 sacks. This is a best bet. Greg Rousseau is an absolute boss. That dude,
he's graded so well.
Is
he
a
gets
machine.
Better every year.
Wow.
Every year he gets better.
Dude is a machine. He's really good. 6th best pass rush grade in the NFL. I love this bet. I think the number is fair. I think it should be what Rashawn Gary's number was. When I saw it was plus 105, I said I think it's worth it. If it gets to minus 110, I just don't like sack bets at that because you know how this goes. If there's going to be sacks, who's it going to be? You're kind of playing that gamble. There's just not a ton of guys, though, on the Bills' side that could go get it, in my opinion. I don't know. And none of them really like jumped out at me, especially considering how good Greg Rousseau is and how hot he's been. Like, he has been on an absolute tear these last 3 weeks. I thought this was going to be minus 110 or worse.
Well, now you got me excited. What do we get it at?
I got it 105 plus 105. Curious to know what your number is on that because I think that's worth. I think that's worth a stab. That's a full unit plus.
That is absolutely wild because the weakest lineman for the Chiefs is their left tackle, Wanya Morris. He's their and that's who he's going to be lined up against.
Yeah, their tackles aren't great. Their interior linemen are good.
The interior's good, yeah.
But Rousseau's an absolute boss. You know, and kind of going with Mahomes a little banged up. Let up 4 sacks last week. Not a lot of mobility. I know it's not true. It's Mahomes, dude. He was running all over the place to win the game versus the Bucs, and he sprained his ankle basically early in the game. So this is a bet on Rousseau is what it is. This is a bet on Rousseau here, over half a sack. I got it plus 105. I don't have any feel in the game at all because the Chiefs getting points is insane. But the Bills are due to beat this team. But the road team owns the series, so I'm just scared to death of the game in general. So I'm attacking props as usual.
Scared to death. Well, so I have the same number as you do.
Yeah.
0.5 plus 105. I actually just went and took that.
I like it, man. I mean, if you look at the other defensive linemen, rushers, and whatnot, there's no one that really is even compared. Rousseau's their guy. If he's going to get after the quarterback, they're going Rousseau, man.
He's absolutely their guy.
He's
I don't know.
Sick, dude.
I do not. I'm so glad you found that because, like I said, he's just matched up against like the weakest link.
Yep.
And like there's nobody else because Von Miller's that guy's disappeared. I didn't even know he played in the NFL until I was researching the game, and I was like, oh shit, they still have Von Miller. Like, but the funny thing is, he only plays in the nickel package. He doesn't even play in their base package anymore.
I see that on here.
You saw that too, and I was like, oh, they must know he's fading too.
Yep.
I will say this, so I love that bet. DK has it at minus 115.
Really?
So I found it on ESPN bet at plus 105. So that is what I snagged. FanDuel won't post this shit until like Friday afternoon.
Rough.
They're slow. But anyways, that's good find, dude. Great.
Yeah. So that's the best bet for me is the Rousseau. I do like the Mahomes 22.5, but the number's fair. Moving on. Do you have anything else to add? Sorry, on the Bills Chiefs. It's such a big game. 4:30. Finally, a good 4:30 game. Last week, 4:30.
I know.
Fucking terrible.
Terrible. Worst fucking slate last. Dude, that's why when you text me, I was like, dude, I left to get groceries. Like, there's
great
nothing
call.
left.
I had nothing to do, bro. I was just sitting there hungover and dead, and I don't even know.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah. So no, I mean that's it for me. That's it. I think if you want to look at Bills props, pay attention to Dalton Kincaid and Amari Cooper. That's all I'll say. That's like kind of the last thing.
Yeah. So I got a couple sack props. I will not hammer them too bad, but it will. I did see this late. The Browns have a very good pass rush, right? And they're playing a Saints team that has gotten better against it, right? The pass rush. But at the same token, they're still the Saints. They still let up some sacks. Myles Garrett's an absolute boss. The Browns are very, very good. I think Myles Garrett's a peak. It's not listed on my book. I mean, if it's like a Greg Rousseau number, I think it's worth it. Just based off how much I think they might pass. I don't know. Because the Browns' pass defense is so weak. I'm assuming the attempts will be strong, and it's Myles Garrett. Defensive player of the year, possibly. We don't know. I did bet it, and you probably get it here before they kick off. Clarence Armstrong with the Commanders. So just to give you a rundown really quick, the most sacks allowed the last 4 weeks. Bears, Texans, and this is in order. Bears, Texans, Giants, Eagles.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
They've been hot.
Bears obviously is insane due to the 9 and the 6 that we just spoke about, right? Texans, C.J. Stroud's going downhill. Their line's not terrible, just C.J. Stroud kind of stinks.
Yep.
Giants, obviously speaking. And then the Eagles is so weird. Their line is so good. Why are they fourth highest sacks allowed?
Jalen Hurts.
That's exactly what I thought. So that's why I thought there'd at least be 1 or 2 sacks in the game tonight. Clarence Armstrong is listed. The number's not great, but I did take it. I'm just giving you some small tidbits. I think the Cowboys are due for one here. I come on, right? They played so poorly. Micah Parsons came back last week and absolutely went bonkers with 2 sacks. Pending on Micah Parsons' number this week, I do like him. Pending the number, I just think it might be decent because there's not a lot of data on him for Vegas. I could see like a plus 110 for him or something.
And Stroud also just holds onto the football.
Yes.
You know, line's beaten up, so yeah.
That's why I went after him due to the Texans being the second highest.
Yep.
So it just depends on. I think I would go after value. If Mike is at a minus 110 or something, maybe look at Chauncey Golston on the other side, right? Because he's had a decent year. So I'd look at that. And then the last one I think that you could take a look at when you get a free moment is because the Lions have. Sorry, I don't have it up on my screen, but I can bring it up right now. Who they're playing? So it's a pretty decent game, I think.
The Jaguars.
Yeah, that's
and with Mac Jones.
There you go. Thank you. I just looked at it, but so many things we talked about escape me. Backup left guard is in for the Jaguars. Mac Jones is the backup quarterback, and the Lions are still a top 5 graded pass rushing team, even without Aiden Hutchinson,
which is wild,
insane. Their backups are the backup for it is just doing just fine. So my point is. But it's the left guard, so it's interior line. I think I'm saying this name right. Ilim McNeil.
Okay, yeah. Can I think of his name? The broadcaster for NBC. Loves him.
Chris Collinsworth.
Collinsworth. Thank you. He was just raving about that guy last week.
This dude's kind of a baller. It's insane. Against Green Bay, right, he had 6 total hurries, but no sacks. Blew my mind. But he had a sack last week, 3 total hurries. This number will be juicy. With the left guard out, the line is semi-poor for the Jacksonville Jaguars and a backup quarterback. I think you're going to find some juicy lines there. Here's the thing. I think I brought it up. I think there's some stuff listed for the Lions, but it's nobody. Maybe not. There's nobody. McNeil's not on that.
Okay,
so not a best bet. Interesting to see, but I just want to give out some stuff. No, just interceptions are listed. I'm sorry. But yes, I definitely like the Ilim McNeil. I think the Jaguars might be so that's the kind of thing, right?
The new Browns?
Yeah. So maybe because, each team kind of goes through spells. The Bears obviously have kind of gotten that pocket, right? I think we missed it maybe. We had 9, right? We had 6. I think we missed that. We got the Browns. We killed that. We made our money on the Browns for a long time. I'm wondering if the Jags are the team. I'm wondering, right? A little banged up, backup quarterback. We've seen that with the Saints. We made some money off of that and their backup quarterback. Mm-hmm. Is this where we go here? I think I'm going to try to get ahead of the game here and say this is it. So if we can get a Lions player, maybe some good value. Obviously, they're a very good pass rushing team. It's going to be somebody, right? It's always going to be somebody. Who's it going to be?
Right. It's going to be. I like it. Yeah. I'm going to have to look. I look. There's nothing for that game right now.
Yeah, I know. I just want to.
Who did you say for tonight's game? What was that cat?
Clarence Armstrong. I hit on him earlier this year. Clarence Armstrong. He is not listed for me. He is their best pass rusher on the Commanders.
And I've never heard of him. Weird. Oh, is it Dorrance?
Screwed it. Clarence, Dorrance, all the same. Dorrance. Yes.
Okay. And you got him at a plus number.
Yeah. Let me have it on action. Sorry, I didn't have it up in front of me. But I got it up on action here and bring it up on my phone. I'm going to be quicker than that. Dorrance Armstrong, plus 175. Love it.
Okay.
But here's why it's not a best bet. Why is because it's tonight. And why, dude? I guess you're banking on Hurts screwing up again, holding on the ball too long, trying to run around. I don't know, dude. Their line's sick.
I'm taking it, man.
Their line is so good, but
Jalen Hurts holds on to that fucking football.
He does. Again, last 4 weeks, 4th highest in sacks. Pretty nuts with that good of offensive line. So, wow. Dorrance Armstrong. Okay. College football, best matchup of the weekend, Tennessee at Georgia. This is so weird, right, on how high this spread is. I'll bring it up for the kids here.
I'm excited for you to talk. I dove into these a little bit more than I usually
Hell
do.
yeah.
So I want to get, yeah.
You know I hate these games so much, but due to how high it is, oh my gosh, it's gone down so much. I guess not so much, but I love Tennessee in this matchup for a teaser. I do not see this game being. I also like double-digit points. As you can see, it's dipped down on BetMGM, Bet365 here. So maybe I'm taking a step back now. But the strength of schedule obviously is totally in favor of Georgia, especially playing Clemson and whatnot already. Tennessee's had a decently favorable schedule pretty much all year. Now they go on the road to face a really tough team, so that's going to be a true test for them. But man, for such a big game, right, you would really hope you would see some good-ass quarterback play. Right? Oh. That's what we're here for, right? We want to see defense and quarterbacks. And the quarterbacks beat the defense. That's what we want to see. You ain't going to see that. I don't think so. I mean, Nico Iamaleava is obviously in concussion protocol, but Heupel said that he is great and great health. Okay. It doesn't matter for me. That's not where I'm going with the bet.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. Play the freaking backup. Doesn't care. Beck throws interceptions like it's his job's completely lost it. I'm assuming you kind of see some regression to the mean, I guess. I don't know. He has looked terrible. And their O-line is very good. I think I'll get that in a second as my point here on my second page. I'll actually skip to it. Their pass blocking is ranked 15th in the country, and he throws interceptions like it's job. Both these quarterbacks suck under pressure. 36.3 QBR for Nico, 35.1 for Beck. It's just, I don't understand. These quarterbacks just can't get better. They get worse. Here's why I want to shade kind of be towards Tennessee. Kirby Smart at home, his ATS is always kind of scary. Okay? He's 1-6 as a favorite this season. Okay?
1-6 as a favorite.
1-6 as a favorite this season. And coming into this year, so I'm not including this 1-6, I guess. Coming into this year as a home favorite, he's 16-17.
Wow.
I know. It's been his MO forever. He at home, stay away from Kirby. On the road, jump on some Kirby. Problem is, he's struggled as an ATS on the road too. Kentucky, man, they barely were winning that game the whole time. I just don't. This Georgia team with the quarterback, they can't put teams away because Carson Beck can't throw. They throw 60% of the time. I like Tennessee because of this reason. Carson Beck sucks. He doesn't suck. He's just not that good. Tennessee's ranked 33rd in pass coverage and 11th in tackling. There's the key. Okay. Iowa State was undefeated a few weeks ago. They were the 116th worst tackling team in the country. Great at pass coverage. A lot of good things stuck out about Iowa State, but they're tackling. And I was like, how's this team undefeated if you're so bad at tackling? I was like, the shoe's going to drop. The shoe's going to drop. I told Luke that when we were on the cruise. I said, bro, I like Iowa State. I bet Iowa State future. I'm waiting to hit it. I have 7.5 wins. I'm waiting to hit that bitch. But my point is, when does the shoe drop for tackling? I think this number, was too high. It was too high because Tennessee's a good tackling team. They're a good pass coverage team, right? If you're getting double-digit points in a game like this, I know it's at Georgia, but Kirby doesn't cover, right? We just gave out those stats as a favorite. I really just this is about all the trenches. It really is going to be. Pass blocking's 15th. Pass rush for Tennessee is 11th. The pass rush is 11th. Tennessee's, dude, that's a shame, man. Tennessee's D is good this year, man. They're pretty solid, but their offense is meh. They can run decent, but their quarterback kind of sucks.
Yes.
Right? He's thrown some bad. He's had some fumbles. He had some bad picks in games. Like, I just like to see this team make the playoff. I think Tennessee could totally make some noise if Nico is above average. Right? Just be above average quarterback. Don't turn the ball over. Game management. But these guys try to go win it sometimes. I just don't think they're that. I'll kind of wrap it up here. Sorry, I kind of went on a little bit off. But I teased it up the double digits because I don't think Georgia will win by double digits. I don't. I do think Georgia will win. Just think it'll be close. Right? I think touchdown-ish. Yep. Right? In the last 2 years, it's hit under the total, and the spread was around the same. So about 9.5 is your average. So you're about in that pocket right in here on some books. So keep an eye on that. That might factor into that. I don't know. But here's the key, and I'll let you have it. teams that play 4 straight home games, then go on the road, are 42, 26, and 3 ATS in the last 10 years.
So really good. Is that Tennessee?
It's Tennessee. They played 4 straight home, 4 plus straight home. I think it's 4 for them, actually, for them specifically. Now they're going on the road, and they're very good ATS. So that supports the bet. Does it make the bet?
It supports it. So trends are 4.
That's right.
So trends are 4. Yes. Okay. So a little bit similar thinking, a little bit different thinking. So I don't want to take the number, but I like Georgia.
Wow. See, so does
I know.
Yeah, that's tough. Go ahead.
I like Georgia. But the main reason is because this is their season. After this, they play the University of Massachusetts and Georgia Tech. I'm sorry, they're gonna fucking win those games. Okay?
What up, Georgia Tech boy? Just go ahead.
But that's how I look at it. And if they win this game, they're going to get in the playoff. In my opinion, there's going to be enough dominoes that fall, so they have to win this game because obviously they're out if they lose, and then they're not going to care. So for me, this is a motivation spot. Whereas I think Tennessee can lose the game and still get in the playoffs. Not saying the players are thinking about that. I just think Georgia is going to come out hot. I mean, Georgia in every game besides Texas has looked like an average football team, but then they go into Texas and beat the fucking drums off that team. How does that happen? Their defensive line looked like it was a 2022 defensive line. They just manhandled them. Carson Beck was actually making good decisions. This is why college football scares me, because it's like the inconsistency in the shit. It just does not make sense to me. So I want to pair Georgia. I want to buy Georgia down to 3, maybe see if this number gets to 9 where I can tease them. I'm just looking for that second leg. I haven't found a second leg that I love, but my bet on the game that I actually like, this does go along with what you were saying, because I'm looking at the lineups too, and looking at the ranks. Tennessee's had a pretty easy strength of schedule. Georgia's had a very difficult strength of schedule. Then you have Nico. We don't know if he's playing. If he is, like you said, it doesn't matter. The guy's not doing good this year. He's not doing good. Georgia has a really good defensive line, and their secondary grades out pretty well too. Anyways, favorite bet here for me, I took Tennessee team total under 17.5. I don't know where they generate points in this game. And I like that better than taking the Georgia minus 9.5 or minus 10, because I think this could be a slugfest 20-13 game or something like that, right? Where they don't win by margin. Georgia doesn't. But I think they're going to be so desperate to win that they get the win. And I don't like Tennessee's offense, man. I don't like looking at their schedule. Who had they played that has been that good besides Alabama? They did beat Alabama. Okay.
Yeah. But it was at home. It was at home.
Yeah. And so I'm just I don't like it. When they went on the road, they lost to Arkansas. They beat OU, but everybody beats OU.
And that was when they had no receiving core.
Yes.
They haven't had it all year, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, and but they've got things back that.
And that game was reasonably within range for the longest time.
And we put in our backup. OU put in their backup quarterback that game because they were having so many problems. So I think my favorite bet on this is the Tennessee team total under, man. I'll keep it pretty simple because you hit on a lot of the points because I was looking at full game under and I'm like, you know what? I like Tennessee actually better to not get to theirs.
Yeah. 15th best rush defense in the country is Georgia. The way that Tennessee wins games is they control the line of scrimmage and run the football.
Totally.
If they cannot run the football, that forces Nico to pass the football, and we all know how that will go.
Not that good.
Bet over an interception. Or even the backup. Same difference. He already has 2 picks as well.
Can you bet player props? I can't do props.
I cannot.
Yeah,
I cannot.
It sucks.
But but some over offshore.
Somebody can.
Yeah, somebody can out there. So, okay. Yeah. Again, I teased up to 16.5. I like that.
Okay. So you teased the other way of what I was thinking.
I did. I just think it's yes. I like what you're doing. Teasing it down is good too. It's gonna be right in that pocket. I'll be surprised if it's not.
Yeah, I just need to find a second leg. So if you got
maybe this one's maybe the next one is, I don't know. Utah at Colorado is the second game. I love this. Maybe I love it too much. Maybe it's the time to. So everyone jumped off Colorado, and they rolled.
And they covered every game since.
Now everyone's jumping on Colorado, and that includes myself, obviously. But this spot's great, man. And Utah played BYU very tough. Should have won. Unfortunately, they did not last week. Yeah, unfortunately,
did you watch the end of that game?
I did.
Bullshit call.
I agree.
I'll get off.
Everyone thinks that as well. That you are not the only one. But at the same token, BYU's due. I think this is the weekend, but BYU always seems to figure out how to win the games that we think they are going to lose. UCF was that time. Remember that? All the pros were on UCF. BYU said, "No, we got this shit. Hold my beer." Are they going to do it again versus your Jayhawks? I don't know. They are a very good turnover team. I think they're number 1 or at least top 5 in turnovers. And Daniel's been better, but he likes to turn the ball over. But we're not talking about Kansas. We're talking about Utah. Utah is ranked 125th in tackling. Just talk about tackling. They're even worse.
Jeez.
And guess who has a lot of skill ballers that like to get the ball and run? Colorado does.
Uh-huh.
All right, we got Travis Hunter, we got Webster, we got receiver Horn, we got receivers like to get the ball and get upfield. So I like that a lot. Utah still got a new QB. I know they played well last week, but Utah still got a brand new QB, brand new in terms of game, a game and some snaps under his belt, but still new. But here's the key: they don't have a lot of receivers. They got one. He's pretty good, Dorian Singer. But guess who's on the other side? I mean, probably a top 5 pick.
Gonna lock him down.
And I probably could be on any side of the, either side of the ball, top 5 pick. So I don't know. Their other receivers are not that good for Utah, right? Money Parks, Micah Pittman, they're gonna have to really rely on them to step up. I just don't see it, especially because Colorado's secondary in general, outside of Hunter, is actually pretty respectable. They really are. So that's why I like that. Colorado's pass rush, man. Unbelievable. I don't know if you want to say Warren Sapp is the reason. I mean, you can if you want, but they were not good last year. They're ranked 46th this year, right? They can get after the quarterback, man. They did at Texas Tech, right? They caused that end zone fumble / pass, whatever you want to call that, and then they returned it for a score. I don't know. And their pass coverage, I just said, it's ranked 23rd. It's pretty solid. If Utah gets down by 10, which is the spread that I got it at 10.5 now, I should bring it up.
You got it at 10. It's 11.5.
It's 11.5 now.
I just checked,
wow.
man. Yes,
oh my gosh.
it is rolling, and it's not even like all the money's on Colorado. It's a pretty even split.
Yep. Oh my gosh. Okay, it's skyrocketing up. A few points, I guess. And Colorado is. I mean, Deion's got them. I mean, they're great against 4-1 against the spread as a favorite this year. Right. I mean, we always say that Colorado's such a good underdog team. Well, this year they're 4-1 as a favorite. It's a good look, man. I don't know what my breaking point is. 10 was kind of my stopping point. It's a best bet. This is a best bet. Colorado, I think they control their destiny. I mean, there's a lot of things favored for Colorado here. They're at home. Jason's big thing is they always struggle versus Colorado. I just think that's really tough to go with that because this is most transfers in the country, right? And Deion's a second-year coach. So history is
throw it out.
Okay, yeah. So the trend thing, let's throw that out. And Utah is not the team they were when they started the year. They're not good.
No.
Whittingham, right? I think we got to start looking at him as a maybe you gone. I don't know. That's too early to talk about that.
I don't know, man. He's been there forever.
I know, but last year was kind of bumpy, right? With the Cam Rising going down and they couldn't throw the ball. I don't know. I just think Colorado's got a lot in their favor here. Man, being at home, they control their destiny. Deion's got to have them locked in. It's such a crazy turnaround for this team. As you can see, the number is skyrocketing. I didn't know if you have a feeling on this game at all or not.
Man, I am sad to report that I bet on Utah plus 11.
I hate you. That is awful.
As you were just rolling.
So that means that's a guaranteed win for me now. Since we're against each other, that's a guaranteed win.
Gotcha. Well, just want to preface. When we're against each other, Corey does not win every time. But college, I will give that to you. Because when we are both on the same side, not as good.
Wow, Utah plus 11. And you feel why?
So here's my thought, man. Colorado. So I looked at their EPA numbers. They're great per pass. Shedeur Sanders, looked at his number. That guy is good. I don't care what you say, Jason. He's a good fucking quarterback, man. Yep. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be a great pro quarterback, but he's a great college quarterback. Their offensive line is respectable this year. It was not respectable last year. But their EPA per run is negative. You don't see that with a ton of teams in college because it's easier to get the run game going. Like pros, you'll see teams have negative EPA run, and they still do it. Pros a different game. I feel like when I'm looking at college teams, they'll be plus in both categories, even if it's not by a lot. But Colorado's still negative running. So then I go look at Utah's schedule. Yeah, they suck, but they're not getting blown out by anybody. They're not, and it's because their defense is keeping them in games. Always. They are losing close-ish games because their defense is good. Like, you look at their offensive total, they suck. 10, 19, 7, 14, 21. Terrible team. Terrible offense. So then I say, okay, so Colorado has to win with the passing game. Well, what's the strength, in my opinion, of Utah's defense? Just looking at PFF grades. Great safety. Couple great corners. It's their pass defense. I think that's where their defense probably keeps them in games. And obviously, if they're usually trailing, teams are probably trying to run the ball on them a lot and must not be having like crazy success. So, I mean, I got to have to leave in like 10 minutes. So I got to keep it narrow to that.
Yep.
But that's it, man. Utah plays close. I think Colorado needs to throw the football. And I think that's the strength of Utah's defense. I see Colorado winning by 10. And I got the number at 11. So that was it. That's simple. Not very good at college, but
it's kind of me neither. All right, moving on. LSU at Florida. I don't have a ton on this, but I'll be quick because I have to be quick.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay. The over has hit 6 straight times in this matchup, if that matters at all. I think that's pretty insane.
Well,
yeah. LSU at Florida, but there's the numbers kind of bouncing all over the place. I'll bring it up here for the kids here. I have LSU. I got a really good one, and I'm going to live with it. It's at 4.5. Some books 4 now. I got LSU at 3.5, minus 3.5. I like LSU in this matchup. Yep, really like. Not a best bet, but I like them. The LSU has covered the last 2 visits to the Swamp. Believe it or not. Here's the craziest stat. Just as you're watching, this spread at the Swamp for LSU being favored has not been this high since 1978.
Wow.
Yeah, at the Swamp, LSU being favored. Yeah. So
of course, they were East-West, so they probably haven't played a ton, right? Because they used to be in different divisions. Okay.
Correct. But that tells you kind of historically, I mean, the spread's still relatively low. That spread in 78 was 6 points. So we're getting there. Well, I doubt we'll get there, but you never know. Anyway, Brian Kelly is 3-0 against the spread with LSU after losing a game of 20-plus points or more. I think this is a must-win for LSU. If Brian Kelly loses this, I think he's heavily looked at. I understand.
Bold statement.
I just do, dude. LSU doesn't accept this kind of crap. Lagway's supposed to play. Everywhere you look will not give you a definitive answer. If he does not play, this will jump to 7. This will break the 78. Yes.
Because PFF has this other kid listed, and I was like,
Aiden Warren. Terrible. Yeah. Yale's quarterback last year. Yale Bulldogs. If Lagway doesn't play, and if you have any information, I'm not trying to copy. I agree with this. I agree the same thing. Hammer, I guess, LSU. But not at 7 points is a maybe. I don't know. Whatever. I'm just telling you to jump 3 points. That's the point.
Okay.
I have 3.5. I like it. I think LSU wins it. I just don't think the Gators are good. Napier, I don't think it's whatever you want to say a must win. I don't think it is. Florida's had a lot of injuries. They've been fine. The Texas loss looked terrible. I understand that. It's because they didn't have Lagway. But
that was their only game they got blown out, though, really, this year. That was their only one.
So they'll give him a free pass. He'll live to see another day, but next year could be on the brink. But I do like LSU minus 3.5 here. I didn't know if you have a quick tidbit on it.
No, I think you talked me into probably pairing him with Georgia, though, because that'll make sense.
Yeah, it's just a weird teaser for you.
Well, I with my books, I don't have to tease it. Like, I can take LSU money line, and then I can go to Georgia and take an alternate number.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha.
So I'll get fancy that way with it. Yeah.
Very cool.
Because yes, this would be a terrible tease. Like, to buy him from 4 to +2, there's no value in doing that.
Oh.
So don't do that, people. Quick lesson.
Don't do that, people. All right, we'll skip ahead to best. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, did you have anything on the total? Because I didn't have anything on a side. I looked at this and I was like, I don't fucking know. But the total, when I was looking through it, I was like, do I hit the over here? But I didn't do anything because I was like, we'll just do the podcast. We'll see what Corey says.
What do you have the total at for you?
55.
If Lagway, I would lean under here.
Or it was the under. I'm sorry. The under is more. And that's based primarily because it's getting 91% of the money, but only 44% of the tickets.
I mean, even if Lagway
market's
plays,
not moving.
I like the under there.
You do more under?
Yeah, I know Nussmeier likes to rip it. That's for damn sure. I understand that. But I'm just concerned with Florida's ability to score. They at home earlier this year versus UCF, they went up like 24-3 and then didn't score a single point in the second half.
Yikes. Okay.
Yeah, that was with Hurts. That was Hurts. That was with Mertz and Lagway, both healthy at that time.
Okay, and that's what got me thinking that, because the Florida defensive line didn't seem to pose a challenge, and Garrett Nussmeier had such a good rating when he's clean.
Yeah, and it's cool weather here, so you can't say the weather's pretty cool. It will be cooler, so you can't say defenses will necessarily get tired. I know LSU's defense is meh for sure, meh. I just 55 is just it's a good number. It's a good number.
It's a fair number. Okay.
Yeah, just the Lagway thing kind of gets you a scare. Like, what is that? I mean, even if he's banged up, how healthy is he? That's why I wouldn't lean under on it.
Okay.
So. All right. You ready for best bets?
Let's do it.
All right. Utah, Colorado. I got -10. We see some 11s, 11.5s out there. I don't know if I would bet as many units if it's that high. How about that? I have a decent bit of units on it already. I actually cashed out and then put more on it. Believe it or not.
Did you really?
I did, yes.
Because you wanted more.
I did. UCLA at Washington. That's tomorrow night. I love Washington at home. I don't love Washington as a team. I love them at home. UCLA is really surprised here, getting a little bit easier schedule, but going to Washington's going to be tough, I think. That's a good number. Judy over 48.5, trying to rebound here. Missing Judy earlier this season, but I see a lot of attempts, targets, right, coming out of Winston's hand. Hopefully it goes to Judy. And Greg Rousseau, we got to stick with a sack bet. We got to stick with a sack prop. We really only missed one this year. So I'm going to go with 0.5 sack. 105 is what I got it at for Greg Rousseau. I could see that going down. So if you want it, I could see that going down to like 110 or something. So maybe jump on that early.
Agreed.
All right.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay. So yes, teaser. So talked about the Chiefs already, +8. Pairing them with the Bengals, +7.5. Sunday night game. Great matchup. I think it's going to be a really fun game. The only reason I didn't put it in is just because Bengals, we just ripped them for so many weeks. But I love that teaser. This will be my biggest bet of the year. So fingers fucking crossed.
Nice.
Cleveland Browns money line. Talked about it. Love it. Kamara over 38.5 receiving yards. Love that as well. That's my favorite prop. Tucker Kraft over 34.5. I like that. I don't love it, but I like it enough to make the best bet. I wanted to get something from the game. Yeah, that's where we're at, man.
Yeah, Kraft is.
I know we're kind of.
We're going against time.
Inconsistent. That's my only reason I say I like it, because the Packers can just throw to one guy one week and then another guy and then another guy, and it's like, how do I fucking bet on this team? And so it's literally a bet on the Packer or the Bears defense, just allowing tight ends to get loose. So
interesting, and it's a low total, 34.5. So okay, that's it for us. We got to go take care of dogs. So all right, we'll see you guys later.